the MNOs stopped providing some of the direct access to some of their data earlier this year. And Aite Group's phone lines started burning up closely thereafter because we were getting a ton of calls from our bank clients wanting to really understand what the impact of that was, especially since so many of them are relying on this data today for some of their authentication routines. So when the opportunity came to participate in this data study and really dive into what is that concrete impact going to mean to the ecosystem, I was pretty excited about it. I'm not only a payments geek, I'm also a data geek, so this kind of brought the best of both worlds together for me. So there's a top 10 US financial institution that supplied the data, 29,000 consumer accounts, including name, address, phone number. And as you can see here, when looking just at the MNO data, and only that MNO data, we saw a 64.2% verification rate, meaning 64.2% of that population, you could say, yes, the data provided matches the data on the MNO records. Contrast that with if you look at the full ecosystem that Payfone has access to, excluding the MNO data, so pulling that data entirely out of the equation, they were able to provide that verified rate for 83.2% of that sample population. And then if you look at the combination of Payfone's ecosystem plus the MNO data, it was 85.1%, which means that the lift you get from that direct access to the MNO data is only about 1.9% in this particular data study. Now, what we then did afterwards, if we look at the next slide, is the data that was provided by this bank was highly skewed toward mobile. It was almost all of the 29,000 records were mobile records. Now, if you look at the fact that in the US population, right now about 63% of US phone lines are mobile, 23% are landline, and the rest are VoIP phones. And again, by delving into that core telecom infrastructure, Payfone's data sources give you access to the entire population, not just the mobile. So if you extrapolate that lift of what you get with MNO data only versus what you get with Payfone's ecosystem, you actually see a 73% increase in that positive verification rate. So yeah, that's quite compelling. It means that with that data set, looking at that full scope of data on that cool slide that Greg showed a few slides ago, you have a lot better breadth of coverage and depth of coverage than you do just going to the MNOs alone. And MNOs pulling some of their data out isn't the end of the day for us if we're relying on this type of data source. And at the end of the day, you've got the benefit of frictionless CX for more and more of your customers.